Hi, what's up, everybody? This is Matt here, and I wanted to let you know that we are into the month of March within the first week. And outside here in Portland, Maine, it looks like much of the snow that fell in January and February is starting to finally melt because we're going starting to have some warmer weather outside. But I must tell you, this winter to start off the year 2025 has certainly been full of a few surprises and a couple of emotional moments. I think many would say that people that I would know would be that if there was another re-election and we had President Trump, if we had knew that he was going to be our president once again, then I would say that out with the race with him because he is doing stuff as he normally does that makes us try to be aware that he's trying to change our country, but in fact, he's not. And those who are the Republicans really have a different opinion than the Democrats, of course. So that was the first big issue since we rolled it over from the presidential elections. And secondly, we've heard a couple of tragedies lately about what's happening in the USA. First foremost was New Year's Day when we heard about that bombing in New Orleans about a suspect who may have been under the oppression of ISIS and seemed to ruin the holiday for most people down in downtown Bourbon Square because that is very festive since that is home to the Mardi Gras, which took place this past Tuesday, of course. Janine and I had a meeting and a Zoom party with our old friends from New Hampshire, and we dressed up in those collars for the festive event. So I can see how things like that really try to bring the best of us for downtown for New Orleans. And I truly do like Cajun and Zydeco music. And then, of course, it did interfere that bombing when it was the Sugar Bowl, which was supposed to be on New Year's Day, but it got pushed over one day. And then, of course, the New Orleans Superdome was host to Super Bowl 59 in February. And the Philadelphia Eagles did defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 40-20. And I was very happy about that because that was a team I was rooting for. I think my maid Janine was rooting for Kansas City. But I think we can understand that we can't win them every year. I don't think no Super Bowl team has ever done it 3 years in a row. But another tragic scene happened, of course, this winter when we had the wildfires in California near LA. And many of those victims and even celebrities were having their homes destroyed in the wake of the fire. So our thoughts go out to them, and we are going to do our best to donate and support them all for in the relief fund. So you can continue to contact your local distributor and send some money if you can. But now that we're into March, a few things always enter my mind whenever it's this time of year. I always look forward to it because it's not only a change in the seasons, but also as I'm filming this tonight, I hope you all were aware that we had to change our clocks over 1 hour. And still, we are a week and a half away from the vernal equinox, which means it will go from winter to spring. And like I mentioned, we already had Mardi Gras this past Tuesday, and it's a 6 week period of Lent because after Mardi Gras, obviously comes Ash Wednesday, and then Easter Sunday is the 20th of April. And you know what? In years past, I have thought about the 28-year period once we had, when in terms of the leap years that I can remember. And 28 years from this date would have been 1997. Even though the days wouldn't be the same back then, they had a different Ash Wednesday, and Easter was earlier that year, March 30th. This year, it's April the 20th for 2025. And also, my next video, I'm going to be discussing about our February entertainment wrap ups, and some of them will include The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe in three different parts: the original book, the film we saw for Disney, and when we saw the play in South Portland last weekend. And there may be also a couple other film bits that we may be interested in discussing because we've been watching some entertainment based on episodes like Will and Grace, Seinfeld. But I also want to point out that we are starting to also enjoy cartoon series. And a couple more things I want to mention in today's video are this. When I'm thinking of Christy Carlson Romano, who had that incident last February in Austin, Texas, when she went to shooting clay pigeons, I just felt after she had her eye shot out in her right eye area, like right here, I just felt totally ashamed that she would actually have a condition where she would be close to dying because she got shot. And shooting any range is a dangerous sport in itself because you're always in that risk factor of someone pointing a gun at a different place and shooting off by accident, even where people are also standing. So, and she recently also was in with another Disney Channel star in a reality show on Fox where she was in a competition with outside celebrity competition. So we just hope for the best and make sure that she gets healthy and she is thankful that she's alive. And still, hearing her return as Kim Possible's voice on Disney Channel Chibiverse was very interesting too. And I'm going to mention a little bit more about that and a couple of subjects at hand on a couple classic Kim Possible episodes with Janine when we film our next video, as I'm filming this right now. And finally, another update I want to bring up is in our chorus, we had a couple of snow days where we were absent because we had some wild weather outside and lots of snow, but we don't have any of that as of right now because like I said, the snow is melting and we have our schedule as expected. But last week we had one practice where there was a performance in the meeting house in our church where we had to move to another location, and that ended up being at a theater just off of Congress Street. And that was where we were practicing for our chorus songs like Whispering Hope and Let Me Listen, because that's are the two hymns that we're going to be singing in our chorus for Sunday, March the 9th. But also, we're practicing for a couple other Sundays down the line and our music session on June 8th. And they include other hits called, one of my favorites now is Hope Lingers On. And this one really is a beat because it gets you into the mood with your hands, your clapping motion, and then pat, pat. And then a couple weekends ago, when I was practicing this piece, I was doing a game with the other people from the church where we were practicing with like that. And we were saying our names and another person's names we were pointing to. It gets a little tougher when you go more fast paced. But if you could follow the rhythm, you could end up where, like I was, one of the last four remaining in our group of like 20 or so. But that was to get a practice rhythm going for the song Hope Lingers On, which I hope you understand. And if we sing this tune in our church later this month and you don't get a chance to be at church or look at it online, that's why they have the archive on the Universalist Unitarian Church site for Portland on the website. So you can go check it out. And when we have our choir on Sundays, I'm included in the bass section. So that's our update for what I have right now for upcoming this March. And Gina and I will be together filming our video, the February entertainment wrap up. And you will hear both of us explain about our entertainments and books and other stuff right now. So we hope you have a good weekend. And remember, this make sure you have your clocks turned back 1 hour by this Sunday because of the start of daylight savings time. See you later.